Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Mason Aaron Racing Videos page on Facebook. Hopefully everything is coming through as far as sound and video goes. If we haven't met before, my name is Mason. Of course, I'm running the video page here, and I have a nice special guest with me here tonight on this Thursday. If I made a mistake in saying Wednesday Night Live, it's because we normally do these on Wednesday. But since it's early in the season and the season hasn't started, figure we might as well go on a Thursday night when no one's really got anything going on. And so with me tonight, I have Cole Babcock, who drives the number two star with Soda late model out of Rosley, Minnesota. Cole, how are you doing this evening?
Good, dude. Trucking back to Fargo here. How are you?
I'm keeping busy with a lot of highlight videos currently and getting excited for the race season, especially with the nice weather that we've been having. I'm sure it's been nice where you're at too.
Yeah, it's been super nice out. We actually ended up working with the shop doors open, I think, yesterday, almost the whole day, which hasn't happened once yet since I've been there. So that was good.
Yeah, and just in preparation for whatever kind of weather we're gonna get Saturday, Friday night, I don't know. Who knows at this point, right?
Yeah, it's the fall spring. That's I've been seeing it all over Facebook and stuff. All the videos, everybody or posts, everybody's saying don't get too excited because there's a storm coming. So it's been nice, but we're gonna get some more snow probably before we're all said and done.
Yeah, yep, I totally get you. So I've been taking advantage of the nice days when I can have them and running outside and being outside as much as possible. And so I'm sure that's really good for getting race cars ready to kind of get some good motivation going.
Yeah, it just brings, overall morale up. Whether you're inside, outside, doesn't matter what type of work you do. You wake up and it's nice outside, and everybody feels better.
Exactly, exactly. Well, if people are watching the comments, feel free to drop a comment or say hi and let me know if everything is coming through all right. We're using the OG setup for this interview since we're just starting out and we have new stuff this year. So, uh, any questions that you have for myself or Cole, be sure to drop them down in the comments below and we'll definitely ask him well and help him pass the time on his way back from St. Cloud tonight.
Yep.
So Cole, I mean, besides the St. Cloud stuff, I mean, you've been pretty busy over the last couple of years besides driving a race car. Kind of give us I guess, the Cliff Notes version before we kind of get into it on what all you've been up to over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it probably was 2 years ago. I decided to start my own kind of business in Fargo there, doing not only graphics and race car wraps, but also some body work, and light fab, and chassis repair, stuff like that. So that was taking off really good. I was having good success building a customer base. It helped a lot of the friends that I have. I normally helped before that anyway, so it was an easy transition into a business to have a customer base already built up a little bit. So yeah, did that. We had kind of an abbreviated season. I don't remember when that was. 2 years ago, I think. Only ran a couple shows. I ended up traveling around with Tucker, racing for national points. So last year, I believe, was first full year again. After that, and it went well. Got a new to us rocket chassis and a new Pro Power engine, and that was a pretty good ticket for around home. Had way better results than we've had in all of our previous years, and felt really comfortable. So that was good. And then this opportunity came up in the off season, actually, preparing for the dome. I jumped on this opportunity to just see, if I qualified for the position and what it was going to be like and stuff like that. And so yeah, here we are today, driving back from work back to home technically, to do some work again.
Yeah, so you have basically no shortage of things going on, no matter what time of year it is, whether it's working on race cars themselves or designing wraps for people. I mean, I'm sure you could probably fill any month out of the calendar year with something to do.
Yeah, you kind of can make your own schedule. There's enough work for all of us to go around, as far as bodies and wraps and everything to do with racing. There's a lot of people racing, a lot of people in our Fargo Moorhead area, that race multiple different classes and have different skill levels. A lot of people that I know also build all their own stuff and do all their own work too. So it really just varies. And some people too, just kind of like me right now, have no time to do it too. So it definitely is a full schedule if I want it to be, or it has to be.
Yeah, I'm curious from your business background on like I guess working with wraps and obviously people like want to be creative and design things like that. And so, what was the main thing that want to get you behind doing designing wraps for race cars?
Um, Kind of a couple things. Joe Thomas started doing it, and he's been a very good and close friend of mine for a lot of years. So I enjoyed helping him with stuff like that. And the one year we were putting stickers on that I didn't do on my own car, and it was kind of a dad asked if we think we could do our own stuff, and I'm not very technical when it comes to operating a printer and software to do that, but I enjoyed the process of it, printing it, seeing it come to life from on your screen to on the race car, and the actual work of putting it on too. I like the detail work in that. So we just kind of jumped on it, bought the same exact printer as Joe had and the same exact laminator, and used the same software just to make it easier because I was kind of familiar with it at the time. So that's kind of what started it. It was kind of just we were thinking about it before race season, and it's not a lot of money for a wrap, but it saves some money when you can do it on your own, and then you can make a little bit too. And we never knew it was going to turn into what it did, being a full time business for me. I was just going to maybe do mine and a couple friends' cars, and then the work kept rolling in, so it kind of made more sense to jump on my own and try and make it work full time.
Yeah, definitely have seen some really good wraps come out of your shop, and you've been generous in sharing some of the graphics for a couple of the area drivers. So greatly appreciate that, by the way. Love it when the graphic guys are willing to share their work with others for various other things. And so, yeah, that I'm sure that's keeping you busy. Do you have a lot of requests in right now? I assume this time of year for wraps.
Since I put that post out, I've had a couple people, and I've actually been steering a lot of them away just because of the fact I would hate to promise that I can get something done. And with the racing schedule that we have with the job I have right now with Dan, I'm not really home a lot after this next swing here. So I didn't want to overload myself or take away from my job there or anything like that. So I steered a lot of those customers to Mike Speaker at Superior Customs. He does great work. He's another really close friend of mine. He's right across the street from my shop. He does awesome work too. But I just wanted my customers to be happy with where they went. If I wasn't able to get their stuff done, and I couldn't recommend him anymore. If I can't do it, I'd much rather have him do it.
I was gonna say, I know you guys I feel like you guys collaborated on that special wrap for the dome for your race car specifically. So I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, that that was honestly a time crunch deal there, similar to he actually that year that I helped Tucker, and I only ran I think two shows. The graphics that I had on that car were also from Mike, and that was purely time restraint. I sent him what I thought I wanted, and like if you can do it, man, like I'll help you put it on. I'll do whatever, but I just don't think I'm gonna have time to do all the intricate parts of the design that I wanted to make it look good because it's there's no point doing it if it's not going to look good, especially on my own car. So I just reached out and he was more than happy to work with me, and yeah, I kind of took off from there. It was really easy. Me and him, like I said, are really good friends, and we help each other a lot. If he's got a big project over at his shop and it's late at night and he sees my truck in the parking lot, he'll give me a call and I'll go over and help him for 10-15 minutes, just kind of hold something for him or whatever he needs. And it goes both ways. I've called him many times at midnight at my shop. Hey, Mike, I need your help for 10 minutes here. Just can you swing over? And it's always yes. He never has turned me down once. We work really well together.
I think that's the one underrated aspect that people don't know about graphic designers, especially in the racing industry this time of year, is like they're there like almost 24 hours some days.
Yeah, I bet when I get there, I'm sure Mike's sitting at his shop right now getting stuff done. It's crazy the amount of hours that you work this time of the year. It's by far our busy season, and it comes with the territory. Everybody's got to get their stuff done, and there's a lot of race cars and a lot less wrap places, so it's comes with the territory, and it's fun though. This is our busy season. This is where you get to see all of the cars that, like in my case, all the cars that I grew up watching. They can I can make them come to life and see them, for the first time in my shop before they get seen on a racetrack.
That's got to be pretty cool. Kind of like a childhood dream in a sense, kind of get to draw like when you're drawing race cars when you're growing up, and then all of a sudden you get to be the one designing them and seeing them actually on the track.
Yeah, if I could go back and look through all my years of school at all the race car designs that I drew on notebook paper in class when I wasn't paying attention when I should have been, there's probably a lot of good designs in those too.
Oh yeah, I still have a lot of my little drawings that I drew when I was really young. Some like I think they're at my parents' house, but yeah, I still have them somewhere. Want to
Yeah,
say hi to Want to say hi to a couple of people tuning in, including your mom, Patricia. It's hard to keep up with you these days, is what she says. I would agree with that. And Josh Barker saying, "What's up to the both of us?" Hey, Josh, hope your off-season build is going well too. Hopefully, he's got some pink in his car again. I love having pink in his car. That's been a kind of a big theme, kind of in your guys' camp. A lot of pink in the cars.
yeah, we did that last year just to honor Kelsey's mom. She passed away that year or before that year, and we wanted to just all of us. I think it was the Petersons, so Joey, Kelsey, and Tucker, and then it was me and Trey Hess and Josh, and then a couple others as well, Blake Anderson, and we just wanted to kind of salute to Julie. She was really the mom of our whole group. Anytime anybody needed anything, or she kept us fed at the racetrack, kept us hydrated. She really was kind of what held us all together. And when Tucker or Joey or I or Kelsey or anybody would have a bad night, she'd always lift our spirits and make us feel good. So we really wanted to honor her and the Peterson family and kind of help them through that tough time.
Yeah, I think that was a really cool like gesture throughout the entirety of the last season, kind of seeing all those schemes out on the track at various points, and I'm sure she was watching it through every race, and there were some pretty fun ones that you guys got to participate in. Of course, you've been big with Tucker through like his street stock national championship run, and now he's in a late model with you guys, and he got his first win last year, so that's had to been pretty cool to experience that.
Yeah, that was easily in the top three highlights of my racing experiences, my lifetime. That was a heck of a night. And to be able to be there with him, and Joey and Kelsey was there, and everybody, it truly, and all of the extended family too. Vance and Kelly were there. Josh, Tanya, Trey, Jasmine, uh, everybody was there. So it was a perfect night for it, really, and it came at one of Tucker's very favorite racetracks in Devil's Lake too, and it was awesome. Me and Joey both pulled into the pits. Tucker was gone. Me and Joey didn't have very good cars that night, and we pulled in, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, did Tucker just win? And somebody's like, yeah, I think so. And then just last weekend, me and Joey were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I pulled in, and I figured Tucker was in tech, so, and I got out of my car and I looked, and he wasn't in tech, so there was only one place he could have been, and that was on the front stretch. So we all had to run up there and get our in and get the picture taken and all that stuff. So it was a heck of a night. We had a good time.
Yeah, that's always a nice little surprise, kind of like, oh, I suppose they don't really. This is kind of an interesting question too, because depending on the track, I assume they like come over with the race here, like, hey, race is over, congratulations to whoever won the race. But I suppose they don't do that at every track, so you don't really know who the leader is necessarily.
Yeah, most nights at almost, I would say, all of our local tracks they do that. Just mostly, I'm assuming to make sure everybody that needs to go to tech gets to tech, for legal purposes, not getting DQ'd. But yeah, it was weird. I never remember hearing anything on the receiver, and Joey was the same way. I'm sure they said it, but adrenaline from the races, and the races are over, so you're thinking about how your car was, and you're thinking about all these things, and you don't even probably pay attention to it because me and Joey both knew we weren't good enough to be in tech, so we weren't really worried about it.
Well, that makes sense. I'm sure there's a lot on the driver's mind as soon as the race, as soon as the checker flies, and it's like, well, we should change this, or we shouldn't have changed that, and yeah, I'm sure there's like 80 different things.
Yeah, there's always a good paragraph to write in the notebook after the night's over.
Lindsay Hansen tuning in, saying hi and saying Cole's the man, and he can't wait to have him back around home so he can build him more tin. I suppose, Lindsay, you probably keep the man in business by yourself.
Yeah, Lindsay's been good to me. He brings me as much stuff as he can, and we're really good friends too. And I was really excited when he got to get into a late model. I know that he's always wanted to, so it was really cool to see him be able to drive one.
Yeah, and it seems like there's been a lot of newcomers into late models, and they've all been getting acclimated pretty well. I know Lindsay's had a few good solid runs last year, and of course we just talked about Tucker getting into victory lane. Lane Schweer's another one that's getting some good seat time. And so, what's it like seeing all these new late model drivers coming in and kind of getting acclimated pretty quick?
It's awesome. I really enjoy it mostly for the reason that when I started, um, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but the word around the racing world was the late model class was dying, and there wasn't many cars. And since I've started, um, every year since I've started, there's at least been five or more new cars, whether they're Fargo or like Greg Moore was one from Jamestown. He's a good wheel. He's had a good year. And stuff like that, and from the Grand Forks area and all that stuff, and it's been really cool to see that class kind of boom again. Because it was always the coolest thing. Like I grew up in Jamestown, so they only came twice a year or once a year, depending on if they had an NLRA show there. Um, and so it was really cool as a kid. You see all the rigs pull in, and that was like I remember seeing uh what is the trying to find out trying to remember Northwest Auto Body hauler pull in with Matt Auckland and all of them pull in and unload three cars that were just pristine and they all matched and the trailer matched. It was so cool to see that, and it's kind of cool to see that kind of coming back again. Just for like the little kid in me that's seen it when they were younger.
I was the same way. Growing up in Minot, we didn't have late models on a weekly basis, so we would get them maybe once every couple of years. And so, like, I was just talking about this on my podcast. Like, since I live in Fargo and I can pretty much go within an hour and see late models weekly, I don't have as much of appreciation for them as I probably did growing up. So I can understand like seeing like a full field of late models on a weekly show, how cool that is, especially growing up seeing them only a couple times a year.
Yeah, and it's awesome to be a part of too. Like everybody in that class is super friendly. We all get along great. And it just makes the class healthier. And the NLRA is doing really good, which is awesome to see. Just stuff like that. It's been a good thing for all things considered. It kind of checked all the boxes in the late model racing world, just getting more car count.
Yeah, Lindsay is he mentioned some advice that you gave him that maybe didn't pan out well. He said that you told him one time to drive the car harder and he didn't lift going into turn one and almost rolled it. So you kind of proved him wrong or proved you wrong, I guess.
Yeah, that was when we were going through the same thing that I went through when I started driving the late models was they don't like to be driven in to the corner off the throttle because then they don't turn. The right front tire comes off the ground. You take all the load out of the right front when you let off the gas. The left rear comes down. So he was struggling getting into the corner. So I'm like, you just got to drive in a little deeper. Like you got to drive in deeper, let till the car turns, and then you can roll out of it and get back on it. And he stayed in it until it turned, and it didn't turn. I think I remember talking about. So yeah, it was definitely something where I was watching and I was like, that's my fault there.
Well, maybe so welding, fabrication, wraps, advice, we're still working on that.
Yeah, the consulting that's not on the sticker yet, that's for sure.
Makes sense, makes sense. Joey Peterson checking in saying Cole has had such a passion for all things racing. It's been fun watching him learn and grow in the sport and as a man. So good, wise words from Joey Peterson.
Yeah, he's been like instrumental in my racing career too. Like he is such a wealth of knowledge, and he takes the time to truly help you understand the changes that you're making and what it should feel like, and try and like he takes the time to teach you, which not a lot of people do. You can go and ask for help and they'll just say do this, do that, and kind of, just to get you away and out of the way. And with him, it has always been so kind and takes his time to teach me things that I truly didn't know or don't know. And that was big, like helping Kelsey with the lightning sprint. I didn't know anything, and I love to help. Like I want to see everybody do well, especially them. So he definitely had to take his time explaining a lot of that stuff to me because it was all so foreign to me.
Oh, and I suppose working on a lightning sprint compared to a full-blown late model, it's just like, wow, these are way completely different beasts.
Yeah, they're a quarter of the size. They got no springs on them. They got a big wing pushing down on them on the top, and yeah, they squat on the left rear instead of on the right front like our cars. They're just a completely different animal, and they're like Joey says, they're dinosaurs. They really haven't changed. Like the basics of a sprint car really haven't changed at all. So I mean, they're kind of hard for someone who's never worked on them to kind of understand because they are very simple once you understand them, but it just seems so weird right away.
Yeah, I could see how that could kind of be a learning curve, especially when you're so focused on working on like your own car and your class, like late models, and working on something that's like so radically different. Yeah, I can see how that can be kind of a challenge in a sense.
Yeah, and almost none of the same ideas apply. So it's a whole new kind of way of thinking too.
One, you mentioned Joey and the advice he's given you. So you've been racing against Joey the last couple of years, and now we have Tucker in the mix, and now we found out recently that Kelsey is going to be wheeling a late model too. So now we have like four of you, plus all the other people that you kind of work with or have raced with over the last several years. So how do you approach racing against people that you know so well and are so close to?
Uh, Not really any different. You still race hard. I mean, you're still out there to do well for yourself and for your team. Whether you race for your family, for yourself, for someone, whatever. Everybody shows up and wants to win, but it's just for me. It's been easier to take a night where maybe I didn't run so good, but Tucker ran good, or Joey ran up front, or Kelsey ran up front. It helps take away kind of the highs and lows of it, I guess, because most nights we all didn't have a bad night. We all, a couple of us did, and one didn't, and one had a good night. So we kind of got to celebrate their good night, and stuff like that. So it definitely helped, that side of it. Just not being so high and low all the time like racing is. Um, but yeah, like just seeing other people that you want to see do well, has been a lot of fun in my last couple of years anyway of racing late models.
Yeah, and I can kind of see that too, like when you like help people in other classes too, it kind of like helping people be successful and trying to get back on track. Well, I can think of like one instance where we were in Jamestown for that late model show in the street stock tour, and you were in the pits helping people get back out on the track during the street stock feature. I'm like, dang, Cole doesn't even drive a street stock, but he's back there in his driver's suit trying to do whatever he can to get people back out there.
Yeah, that was Ty. He was racing for the tour championship, and I knew that. I try and keep up to date on stuff like that. Trey runs street stock stuff, and I've been a fan of the Justin Vogels and Kyle Dykhoffs and all them. So I try and keep up with it. Ty's a heck of a wheel. He's a great driver, and so I had no reason not to help him out, and I figured I could lend a hand. There was plenty of us down there. Johnny Carter and Kyle Anderson was down there, I think, and there was so many people down there. And yeah, I knew he had a lot on the line, and he really needed to make it back out there. So it was kind of just an instinct: go back out there and help him get back out there. And I'll be honest with you, we put a completely wrong shock on and pretty much a wrong tire on, and he still wheeled that thing all the way up to, I think he finished third or for sure in the top five from the back. So was pretty crazy to see. The thing was all wheelied up and the right side was ripped off, and yeah, it was pretty cool to see it though. He wheeled the crap out of it that night.
Yeah, and see, from the stands, you wouldn't have really noticed. Like from the driver's seat, I'm sure you'd be like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. There's a shock messed up. But yeah, fans, we would not know any of that.
Yeah, the track was really wide open that night for their feature, and we put the slick shock on, so that thing was, yeah, it was a handful to drive for him. I'm sure it was not fun at all, but he made it look good.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool to see the racing family come together like that to get people back onto the track.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like growing up in Jamestown, we always parked right where the hot pit was with my uncle Josh. So you could literally watch, I mean, people from all directions that don't even know each other, or have never at least met each other, different classes, and everybody just helps each other out. It was, we all are there to go and have fun. That's what racing's about, is having fun and enjoying the people that you're doing it with. So that was kind of what I got to see firsthand growing up. Like that's the way it should be. Like if somebody pulls in and they don't have a pit guy, or they only have one pit guy, like go help them. Like it doesn't cost you anything, and they're gonna thank you tremendously for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's really cool to see from my vantage point too, trying to capture all that stuff on video at the same time too.
Yeah,
It's
those are my
okay.
favorite videos of yours, are all the ones in the pits, seeing everybody interact with each other and having a good time. Because sometimes racing, you know it as well as everybody else does. It's a tough sport and it weighs on a person. So to see everybody enjoying it and having fun in those videos that you take, is there's a lot of good memories there that you're sharing with people. So we definitely appreciate it.
Well, I'm looking forward to capturing a lot more of them this year. I'm really excited to get the season going, and I have a few more ideas and kind of like trying to capture more of that stuff this year. So looking forward to it. We got Kaylee Breitenbach checking in, wondering what's going to happen when we all need to get together for a day of maintenance and gear changes in Fargo. We'll sure miss running into you this summer, but hope you have a ton of fun with a fun opportunity.
Yeah, they came down on their way to Watertown, and that was awesome. Just seeing everybody work together and helping each other out. I think that was one of the first times that Kenna ever changed a 9-inch gear. So that was cool to see everybody, Jory and Tim Berg, kind of teaching her how to do it and giving her a helping hand and stuff like that. That is like career building for a driver that's new in the sport. It's cool to see things like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure there's been quite a few people that have stopped at your shop to kind of, stop in, whether it's a gear change or just kind of talk racing a little bit. And so, yeah, like I guess that kind of transitions well into kind of like what is the summer totally looking like for you as far as racing, or just kind of focus specifically on helping in the pits?
So I'm not gonna plan on racing any at all. Just for the simple fact that I didn't want any sponsors or any fans or anybody to be disappointed if I didn't. If there's an open weekend and we're not going racing with Dan anywhere or anything like that, or we rain out maybe where we're going and we don't rain out here, I might. But I might also just kind of maybe take the weekend off and help and just kind of relax a little bit too. Racing's a lot of work, you know, and it doesn't stop. Once you're done racing that night, if you got to get the car back ready again, it can't just sit there all dirty and tires dirty, car dirty, stuff wrecked. You got to fix it back up. So I just
Racing or just kind of focus specifically on That makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
okay, yeah. So it just stuff like that. I didn't want to promise anybody, I guess, that I'd be there. But if an opportunity presents itself, I'll definitely jump on it to race. Because I still want to race, obviously, and stuff like that. But it's just this Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series tour is a long one and a tough one, and we're about the furthest away you can be from all those races. So, but I'm excited. I think this is going to be really fun. I've already learned a ton more than I've ever learned in my life, and the people that I'm doing it with are awesome. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about what I'm doing right now.
Well, and do you have a specific duty as a pit guy? Are you like focused on tires or just kind of all around anything that needs to be done?
Yeah, we all have an actual job title. So Justin Fremming, he's a Wasota modified driver. He's our mechanic.
Oh,
Yep, Brendan Bellinger is our crew chief. He's been with Dan for I think this is the fifth year. And then I am the tire guy. So that is our job titles, but we all do everything. If we all have our own stuff done, and there's stuff that needs to be done, or at the end of the night when the car's wrecked or the car's dirty and we all got to clean it, we all work. It's we all truly help each other. We all gotta, as Dan says, we all gotta row the boat the same direction, and we're all working towards the same goal at the end of the year. So
nice. Well, it's good to that you kind of have like a specific role that you kind of focus on, and then I'm sure you pick up stuff along the way from the other people when you're seeing what they're doing and working on things.
yeah, and we're all super involved. Dan is an amazing teacher. When you have a question, he's always said, do not be afraid to ask, or if you don't understand something, just ask, and he'll gladly explain it. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he's been doing this for a long time, and he's a great guy. And yeah, I can't say enough about Dan. I've personally learned a lot, and I know everybody else has too. And this is all new to him too. He's only probably got 20 to 30 nights in a with soda late model. So we're all learning together, which is also good because we're all figuring it out and watching the cause and effect of everything at the same time with each other. So that's been good.
Yeah, so folks out there, if you're a Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series watcher, be sure to keep an eye on the 60 Dan Ebert. He's kind of one of our local area drivers, come from the St. Cloud, Minneapolis area, and Cole gets to help him throughout the entirety of the summer. So be looking forward to seeing how he transitions well into that. I know he's had some pretty good runs to start off the year already, so I'm sure they'll just start coming in bunches here as the more races get going.
Yeah, we've shown really good speed. I feel like um, just right out of the box. And Mark Richards at Rocket has been huge for that. Um, we really couldn't do it without him, and then Jeff, one of Brandon Shepard's guys, got to hang out with us for the whole speed weeks, and that also greatly helped us. He was such a big help. He was doing everything from helping me with tires to smashing shocks to helping us with body work when we needed it. He was a real team player for us. So that was awesome to have him and Mark in our corners for our first speed weeks to kind of keep us between the bumpers, I guess, if you will. Try not to get too far off track and help us hopefully stay up front, which I feel like for our results, for Dan being new and our whole team being new and all that stuff, we did really well. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens now when we get out of Florida and get to some more normal racetracks.
There we go. Yeah, you entered another tough dead zone, so a little buffering there, but I think we're all good. Before I
Yeah,
let you before I let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to as far as sponsors, people that have helped you out over the last few years or gotten you your opportunities?
yeah, just really everybody that's been behind my race team, you know, up until now and then into the future. And I'd like to thank Dan and Ashley and Brennan and Justin and James Tarantina for allowing me this opportunity to go out and really learn something and be a part of this team. This is going to be huge for me, just learning and being a part of it and see if we can achieve our goals and stuff like that. And I'm excited to see where it takes me. That's for sure.
Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing you around here throughout the summer and very like whenever you have some free time to roam around. And so we'll look forward to seeing you at the track. And if you're behind the wheel, we'll be watching for you there too.
Yeah, I'll be excited. I promise you to get back home as soon as we can to watch some local racing again.
You got it. Well, thank you so much, Cole, for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us tonight, and safe travels throughout the entirety of this summer. And thank you to all of the fans tuning in as well. We'll be back hopefully next week with another, or actually not next week because I'll be in California. We'll be back soon with another live interview on the Mason Aaron Racing Videos page. Until then, enjoy the off season and the race season coming up.